Hello, 6th graders, and today we're going to look at 15.4 surface areas of prisms and cylinders. As you go through this today, just kind of listen to what I'm doing, kind of watch how I'm solving it, and obviously write it down in your notes here as we go. But on Monday then, we'll go over all of these and clarify and go through step by step. How do you find these? Okay? So today, we're going to find the surface area of prisms and cylinders. Alright, so what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at what's called a net. So a net is when you take a 3D shape and you lay it down. So you take it all apart and you lay it totally flat, and you can see all the parts that if you were to fold it back together, then you would create that 3D figure. Okay? And then we're going to find the surface area, the sum of the areas of all the surfaces of a figure. So now we're talking about area again. So now we're back to feet squared, inches squared, meters squared, all of that labeling there as we go. Alright, so this is what we're doing here. Okay, so this is a rectangular prism, and if you lay it down flat, so you can kind of see the sides are starting to fall down, the top one flaps up, that is called a net. Okay, and so to find the surface area of a prism, so it can be any kind of prism, rectangular prism, triangular prism, hexagonal prism, right? Mainly though, we're going to look at just the rectangular and the triangular prisms. So here underneath the rectangular prism on your notes, go ahead and write down this big formula. Alright, so I'm going to talk as you write this down. So under here it says find the area of all the sides of the prism and then add them together. So in a rectangular prism, there are 6 sides, right? A top, a bottom, side to side, and a front and back. We know that in a rectangle, the opposite sides are the same. So in a rectangular prism, the front is the same dimension as the back part of it, right? So you kind of think of a Kleenex box. The top of the Kleenex box is the same dimension as the bottom. So here if we do the length times the width, so one of the sides times 2, because there's 2 of them, right? A front, a side, and a side, plus the length times the height, so another, maybe this is the front of the box, times 2, because there's a back. And then the top width times height times 2, because that has a bottom as well. Alright, here's for a triangle. With a triangular prism, we know that there's a front triangle and a back triangle, and then all the other sides are rectangles, right? So we know that in a triangle, it's 1/2 the base times the height, or the same thing as length times width. But then we're going to multiply it by 2 because we have 2 triangles, right? A front and a back. Then we're going to add together the area of all the 3 other rectangles in the picture, right? And we need 3 because a triangle has 3 sides. So we're going to find the area of the 2 triangles, and then we're going to add together the area of all the 2 triangles plus the 3 rectangles that go around the edge here. Alright, so on the right side now, we're going to do 3 examples. So if you want to cut that big box on the right into thirds, or however you want to do it, that's going to be quite a bit of work, so you're going to have to write smaller here. Alright, so go ahead and pause this, and I want you to write this down. Okay, so draw this is kind of like a cross. Go ahead and draw this and label this. Alright, you notice here that everything's color-coded. Oops, sorry for that. Everything's color-coded here. So the red and the red are the same boxes, right? That's the top and the bottom because it's just laid out flat. Here the blues, front and back. Blues are top and bottom, and then the greens are the sides. So you notice that they're color-coded. When you get your worksheet, there is not going to be color-coded. So what I like to do is put little symbols in each one. Which ones are the same? Alright, so first identify in a net when it lays down which ones are the same. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to find the area of the red box, and then we're going to multiply by 2 because there's 2 of them. We're going to find the area of the blue box, multiply it by 2 because there's 2 of them. Find the area of the green box, multiply by 2 because there's 2 of them. And then we're going to add those 3 numbers together to find the area. Alright, so let's go ahead, follow my work. This is example number 1. All right, so you notice there, here's the area of the red, 15 by 9, and I'm going to multiply by 2 because there's 2 of them. Here's the area of the blue, 15 times 7, and then times 2. And then 9 times 7 is the green, times 2 because there's 2 of them. Now we just have to do all the math. All right, and there we have our final answer, and we're finding surface area, so my answer is back to inches squared. Go ahead and pause this if you don't have all of this. All right, what happens then, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, if it's not a net? Okay, well, same thing. I have a front of the box, I have the top of the box, and I have the side of the box. Find the area of those 3 boxes. Multiply it by 2, right? Because there's always another side, and then add them together. All right, so here we go. Okay, remember how to draw a rectangular prism? Okay, so there's your box there, right? All right, I'm going to start with the top here. So this is 7 meters, and this then is the other side of my top, which if I look down is 2. So the top is a 7 by 2. Okay. Now I'm going to do the side. The side is a 4 by 2 here box. And my last box is the front, which is a 7 by 4. This is how tall it is, right? So 7 goes across, 4 up and down. All right, and do our math. All right, so we found the area of each box, multiplied them by 2, and then added them together. Please pause to make sure you get this all written down, and I'm heading on to the next one. Here next we have a triangular prism. So go ahead and make your shape here. All right, that's how we draw it. Okay, label what you know. Go ahead and pause this. All right, to find my base and my height of my triangle, I'm going to look at my triangle. I have a base of 15 and a height of 8. So there's my dimensions there. All right, so now I got to start looking at my rectangles along the outside here. You notice the bottom rectangle. If I look at the bottom of my tent here, this is a 12 by 15. And actually, they're all the same here. So this is going to be an equilateral triangle. So these are all 12 by 15. So I actually have 3 of them. Sorry. All right, so there's our final answer. We found the area of a triangle, multiplied it by 2 because there's 2 of them, and then found the area of all the rectangles on the side, added it all together to get our final answer. Go ahead and pause this so you get your answer. All right, next we're going to look at cylinders. Cylinders, here's our formula. With a cylinder, pi r squared is the area of the circle, but remember with a cylinder we have 2 of them, right? So we have a top and a bottom, so we're going to multiply by 2. Plus then 2 pi RH. This is the label, if you think of a soup can, this part is the label that goes around the outside. So the 2 circles plus the label equals the whole surface area. All right, in this one now we have two examples. So this is example number 1. Go ahead and draw a rectangle and then 2 circles on top and bottom. This is if, this is called a net, right? A cylinder, we lay it down. And notice that the second R is not squared. Don't square that, please. All right, so we have our radius here in our circle. Our height will be over here. It tells us how tall this item may be. Do your math of each, and then go ahead and add them together. Remember, this is to the nearest tenth. To the nearest tenth. So we have and everything is squared, right, because we're still in surface area. So go ahead, write this down. Make sure you get that in your notes. We're going to do one more. All right, what if it doesn't look like a net? What if it's just a plain old cylinder, right? Okay, well, here's our radius. Here's our height. Plug it into your formula. Sorry there. There should be an H with that, right? Sorry, I added that H in there. Don't put that H in there. So this is 5 squared. Okay, and you notice I did not square the 5 on the second one. All right, and those are prisms and cylinders, right? So take your time through it. Your assignment tonight is to do the worksheet. As you notice here, 4 lines of work for pretty much every problem. Do the best you can. Give it a try. On Monday, we will go through all of the examples or all the problems on your homework and look at our work as well. Okay, find the area of the circles times 2. Find the area of the label, right? You can do this. Give it a try. All right, so your worksheet is on Schoology. Make sure you're putting all your work on a separate piece of paper. Make sure you're labeling it. If you want to draw the picture, it could be helpful, but you do not have to. All right, good luck.